Most of the time, people think stress is just mental, but your body never sees it that way. When people hear the word stress, they usually think about mental pressure, work deadlines, family responsibilities, financial concerns, lack of time, constant multitasking. And they're definitely part of it. But what many people don't realize is that stress is not just something you think about. It's something your body responds to. Every form of stress, whether physical, emotional, or chemical, ultimately has to be processed by the nervous system. And the nervous system's job is very simple. Keep you alive, stable, and adapting to your environment. So when stress increases, the body adapts. Sometimes that adaptation is helpful in the short term. You become more alert, more focused, more reactive, more driven. But when stress becomes constant, the system doesn't just turn off when the day's over, it stays engaged. And that's where we start seeing patterns show up in the body. Let's break this down simply. Physical stress. Physical stress is anything your body has to physically manage or compensate for, such as long hours sitting, poor posture, repetitive work, old injuries, lack of movement, overtraining, and poor sleep positions. Over time, these things can create areas of tension or restriction in the body. Muscles stay a little tighter than they should. Certain joints don't move as freely. Other areas start working harder to compensate. At first, you might not feel pain. You might just feel stiff, tight, or, not quite right. But as a pattern continues, the body may start producing clearer signals. Pain, headaches, or a bigger discomfort. Emotional stress. That's the one often underestimated by most people. The body doesn't separate emotional and physical experience as cleanly as we'd like to think. When you're under emotional pressure, the nervous system often shifts into a more protective state. Breathing can become shallower. Muscles can stay more guarded. Sleep can become lighter or more disrupted. And over time, that bracing response can show up physically. Neck tension, jaw tightness, shoulder tightness, headaches. Fatigue that doesn't fully resolve with rest. Some people describe it as feeling, like they're carrying everything in their body. That's not just a metaphor. It's often a real physical pattern. Chemical stress. It's everything your body has to process internally. This can include things like inflammation, poor nutrition, blood sugar instability, dehydration, lack of recovery, or even just an over-reliance on stimulants just to get you through the day. Caffeine. When the body's under chemical stress, recovery becomes less efficient. Tissues don't bounce back, or energy levels fluctuate more. Sleep quality can drop. The nervous system just has to work harder simply to maintain balance. And when that baseline load is higher, physical and emotional stress, they tend to feel more intense. Where this all comes together, this is the important part. The body doesn't experience these stressors separately. It experiences them as one total load. You've got the physical, emotional, and chemical stress, and that's going to sum up to your overall system demand. And when that demand stays high for long periods of time, for too long, the nervous system starts adapting in ways that eventually show up as symptoms. That might be pain, could be tension, fatigue, poor sleep, headaches, or a combination of all the above. That's what's often confusing for people, is that the symptoms don't always match the stress. You might think, I'm not doing anything that should cause this much pain. But the body's not just responding to today, it's responding to accumulation. Weeks, months, sometimes years of load and adaptation. Important things I try to help people understand is this. Your body's not breaking down randomly. It's adapting to what it has been dealing with. And symptoms are often the point where adaptation has reached its limit. That's why two people can experience similar stress, but present very differently. One might get headaches, another might get lower back pain. Another might just feel exhausted all the time. Different outputs from the same system under pressure and overloaded. Why this matters clinically? When we understand stress this way, it changes the approach. Instead of only asking, where does it hurt? We start asking, What is the system under load from? Where is it compensating? How is it adapting? And is it able to recover properly? That's where care becomes more than just symptom focused. It becomes about helping the system handle stress better again. Not just removing one signal, but improving how the body responds overall. And when that starts to improve, people often notice changes beyond pain. Better sleep, more stable energy, less tension throughout the day, and a general sense that the body feels more resilient again. If you're noticing patterns of pain, tension, or fatigue that don't seem to fully make sense, it may be your system showing the load it's under. If it's helpful, we can take a closer look and figure out what's contributing. Comment Heal below, and let's get connected.